Hi, I'm Cameron.
I'm Hayden.
And this is...
Until the End of Crime.
The year is 1980.
Okay.
Dorothy Jane Scott was 32 years old and was working as a secretary for 2 stores in Anaheim, California, home of Disneyland. The stores were jointly owned, so probably there's some accommodating both stores within a regular full-time schedule. One was Swinger's Psych Shop, and the other was Custom John's Head Shop. Both stores sold items that were popular in the late 1970s, such as posters, love beads, lava lamps, and so on.
Love beads.
Things that would have been considered counterculture.
Were those marital aids? Love beads?
I don't know. All I could think of was like the beads that you would hang in the door.
Oh. Because in my mind, the only beads I could think of
are anal beads.
Yes.
I know. Which...
And you said this wasn't a Pride episode.
Says a lot about you. She was a single mother of a 4-year-old boy called Sean, and they lived with her aunt in Stanton, California, which is 24 miles outside of Los Angeles. I visited this area a lot whenever I was young because my grandparents used to live in this area, Placentia, California, which was like...
Placentia?
Yeah, which is like 30 minutes from Anaheim, which is where the mouse lives.
Placenta's crazy.
Yeah.
It sounds a lot like placenta.
It sure does.
Okay.
So much so that I have to think of the two and then remember which one is which and then say the right one when I talk about where my grandparents lived. So, Dorothy was a bit of a homebody. She was a very devoted Christian who did not use substances. I don't have any information about the relationship that produced her son, if it was a situation where she was divorced or what, but I do know that the son's father, Dennis Terry, lived in Missouri and was not a part of their lives. Dorothy did not really openly go on dates. She did not have any special romantic partner in her life. She just worked hard, took care of her son, and was involved in her faith. Any which way, on the evening of May 28th, Dorothy had a work meeting that she needed to attend. During the meeting, she noticed that one of her coworkers, Jim Conrad, looked really ill, and she saw a spot on his hand that was red, which was how she realized that his hand was also swelling. This was around 9 p.m., and half an hour later, when the meeting ended, Dorothy and another coworker, Pam Head, essentially insisted that they take Jim to the UCI Medical Center emergency room in Orange, California. The 3 of them piled into Dorothy's 1973 white Toyota station wagon, and Jim was treated for a black widow spider bite. Ooh. Dorothy and Pam stayed together while Jim was being treated. No one left to go to the bathroom or got up for water. The 2 of them were together the whole time. When Jim was sent on his way with a prescription, the 3 went to leave. Dorothy offered to bring the car around so Jim didn't have to go very far on foot, and she left Jim and Pam, which I'm now realizing I think are the main romantic storyline characters on The Office US, which I've never seen, to do exactly that. More time than it should have taken elapsed, though, so Jim and Pam stepped outside to see if she had pulled up in a spot not visible from their vantage point inside. Maybe the bay was being blocked by another vehicle or whatever. They headed outside and they saw the car. Despite being in a parking lot, the car was going very fast, and the headlights were trained on the pair, which obstructed their vision a bit. The white station wagon did not slow down, even though they were attempting to wave it down. They watched as it peeled out of the hospital parking lot, perplexed. They assumed that there must have been an emergency situation that came up with her son, as they tried to make sense of the series of events that could have taken place between her going to the car and leaving the hospital in such a hurry. By the time this all occurred, it was around midnight. Their concerns had shifted from the spider bite to what would have caused Dorothy to leave in such an urgent manner, so they attempted to call her. They learned that she had not arrived home and grew concerned enough to file a missing persons police report at 2 a.m.
So this is 1980, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know historically we haven't held or handled missing persons reports super great. Curious to see how this one was handled.
Yeah, so all things considered, with the exception of them going immediately back into the hospital and calling the police, Dorothy was reported as missing relatively quickly. And only 2.5 hours after her coworkers reported her missing, her white Toyota station wagon was located about 10 miles away from the hospital in an alleyway. There was no sign of Dorothy, but probably what led to the rapid discovery of the car is that it was very distinctly ablaze.
Okay. Burning car would certainly gather my attention.
Yeah. So that was the only thing of Dorothy's that was found at the time. It would be another week before the next clue would emerge, and it would come in the form of a phone call.
I can't stand you. I can't stand you. Listen, if we're going to have sound effects, you can't be the only person with access. I need sound effects too.
I don't know how to give you access.
I've wanted a soundboard for forever.
Vera Scott, Dorothy's mother, received a phone call 1 week after Dorothy's disappearance. The caller asked, "Are you related to Dorothy Scott?" And Vera confirmed that she was, to which the anonymous male caller stated, "I've got her," and hung up the phone. But this wasn't the first call that had been placed. Around the end of 1979, Dorothy began receiving phone calls at work from a man who would vacillate between professing his undying love for her and telling her that he was going to, quote, get her alone and cut her into bits.
Okay.
Unquote.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's, I don't want to be cubed and filleted.
Right. So, through his phone calls, it became clear to Dorothy that this man was watching her. He called once and told her to look out the window, where she found a wilted red rose lying on her windshield.
Mm.
He knew her routine. I think that the calls were only to work, but I'm not 100% sure about that.
Okay.
So the calls came again and again into the start of 1980. By May, Dorothy had become alarmed enough to start taking self-defense courses and was contemplating the purchase of a handgun to carry for protection.
Handgun for protection.
Obviously, she was abducted before she got the chance to make a decision about that. On June 12th, 1980, a story was published in the Orange County Register about Dorothy's disappearance, and the editor received a call from a man who claimed that he killed Dorothy, his love, because he caught her cheating with another man. He claimed that she had denied cheating, to which he felt was reason enough to kill her. And the caller had...
I'm sorry. Say that again?
He thought that she had cheated, and she said that she didn't cheat, so he killed her.
Oh my God, Jesus. Yeah, and you said he thought that was a good enough reason.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, totally a good enough reason.
Yeah.
Okay, just wanting to make sure I didn't mishear anything.
Well, she wasn't dating anybody either, so I don't know how she cheated on anyone.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, what is he talking about?
I think he's talking about first-degree murder.
Yeah, he's just absolutely nutters.
Yeah. So the caller had revealed to this editor that Dorothy was wearing a red scarf the night she went missing, which was a detail that the police had kept from the public in hopes that it might come in handy. Originally, that day, she had been wearing a neutral color scarf. Some reports say black, some say white, but changed it before going into the hospital with her coworkers to the red scarf.
Okay.
I put emojis in here for when to play that sound.
Okay. All right,
I think that's the last one. Yeah. So I mentioned that Vera, Dorothy's mother, received a call 1 week after Dorothy went missing, but that wasn't the last call she received. Every single Wednesday, a call came in from an unidentified man who would say, "Is Dorothy there?" Or, "I've got her," or, "I've killed her," before abruptly hanging up, without fail. And Vera was almost always alone when the calls were placed. So again, seems to be watching. Naturally, the police tapped the line, but unfortunately, because the calls were cut so short, they were never able to trace them. Every Wednesday from June 1980 on, the calls came throughout 1981, 1982, 1983, and through the start of 1984, they continued until one evening in April when Jacob, Dorothy's father, answered the phone, at which point the caller stopped his weekly harassment of Vera. A few months later, on August 6, 1984, as construction workers were digging in the area of Canyon Road and Santa Ana Canyon, they came across partially charred remains, which turned out to belong to a human and a dog. And the human remains also had 2 pieces of jewelry. There was a turquoise ring and a watch, which was stopped at 12:32. The charring of the bones was believed to have been the result of a bushfire 2 years prior, and the remains were estimated to have been there for 2 years.
I'm so sorry. Is it the squeak?
It's the rattling and the... It just sounded like it was moving away from where you were, or where you are, I suppose.
Can you take Benji outside?
No, it's fine. I don't even hear it anymore.
Did you hear it then?
Okay, I did. Okay.
Oh, they're going for a walk.
That's what I figured. After a little over a week, dental records confirmed that the remains belonged to Dorothy, but the condition of the remains left little evidence about how she had been killed. The discovery of Dorothy's body was publicized in hopes that someone might have information that would lead to an arrest and conviction in the murder of Dorothy, who they believed to have been killed within an hour after her being abducted. This is because it is believed that the 12:32 stopping of the watch happened at the time of her death.
For some particular reason, or...
It doesn't say anything about the watch being damaged. All of this was a bit confusing, confuddling, because they're saying that they estimated the remains to have been there for 2 years, but this is 4 years after she was abducted, and they believe that she was killed within an hour after she was abducted because the watch stopped, but there's no apparent reason that was obvious to me as to why the watch would have stopped. So, after the news about Dorothy's remains being found was made public, Vera's phone rang again. The caller asked if Dorothy was home, then hung up the phone and never called the Scott home again. Who would do this? Who would stalk and harass a woman, go on to abduct and murder her, and then proceed to stalk and harass her mother and family after the fact, tormenting them?
Her ex-husband in Mississippi or Missouri or wherever you said he was?
He is in Missouri. It's a really good question, right? Who would do this? Mm-hmm. And I wish that I had the answer.
Okay.
The best I can do is tell you that this type of stalking behavior is uniquely sadistic and predatory in the use of psychological warfare not only months before, but for years after Dorothy's death. For a time, a man named Mike Butler was looked into heavily. He owned a mechanic shop near Dorothy's place of work, and it was known that he had a bit of a fixation on her. But they were never able to link him to the crimes, and so he was never charged. That's the end. I mean, all I've got is, like, if you have any information, contact Orange County Sheriff Department.
That is short. Oh my God. That was...
a mini-sode.
That is a mini-sode.
Well, also, I think we're both acutely aware of, like, making sure it goes by, so you haven't been interjecting.
First off, I'm kind of gobsmacked because you don't like cases that aren't solved. And so I was sitting there waiting like, oh, she's about to tell me who it was. And then that didn't happen. And I was like, oh, this isn't what she does. At least not very often. Okay. Wow. I think I misjudged how long 1,500 words is. Because that came and went, and I was just listening. But you're right. There's not just a whole lot of info.
There's really nothing. How do you feel? Are you glad that I did this unsolved case? Do you love it? You want me to do this more often?
So first, well, hold on. I want to answer your question if I can try to, which I think that if we're talking about what kind of person does this, I think you were right to say someone who's a sadist, someone who takes pleasure in other people's pain. I think that there is a level of this desire to control someone's reactions and their feelings at play. It makes me wonder what kind of potential disorder or what flavor of psychopathy or sociopathy puts someone in a position where they feel like they're without consequence, or even potentially narcissism. I think this idea of, it's weird to me that Dorothy was buried with a dog. Yesterday, as I was scrolling through TikTok videos, I saw someone talking about murdering their husband, or I don't even know what I saw, if I'm being honest. But someone commented that the perfect murder is to inject someone with insulin underneath their tongue and let them die. Go and bury their body just roughly 2 hours outside of your geographical location. Dig a 12-foot hole at 6 feet. When you're stacking the dirt back in, at 6 feet, bury a dead animal. So if something does hit there, the first 6 feet, they're like, oh, there's a dead animal here. And then when you give a shot under the tongue and insulin, it's not something that's easily found or traced during an autopsy. And then insulin doesn't show up as a toxin on tox screens. And if anything, it shows that someone has a blood sugar problem, which could explain their death.
Yeah.
And I say all of that because I wonder if this dog is buried alongside Dorothy's remains in an effort to confuse, I don't understand what the dog's component is here. Weird parts of this very limited case.
Yeah, we're going to go back a bit to the perfect, how to get away with murder scenario that they just gave. There would not be anything more suspicious to me than digging 6 feet down and then finding a buried animal 2 hours outside of, I imagine that means that you're not in a populated area. People don't make a habit of taking their deceased pets and taking them to remote areas and burying them 6 feet under. I'm going to say
necessarily meant a pet. I think it could
be
any
an animal. Okay, but that's even more suspicious to me. Who buried the animal 6 feet down?
That's fair.
1, 2. Definitely, you can do all of that. I don't think that you need to go 12 feet down. That's a bit much. Also, I'm not advocating that anybody do this. Yeah, but yeah, you put an animal on top, and then on top of that, you plant endangered plants that can't be removed because of laws surrounding those plants, like protected plants.
Absolutely did not mention anything about protected plants.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that also, if you're doing all of that other stuff, then also very suspicious that you're just putting this body that's been injected with insulin. I mean, it's even more suspicious to me. That's suspicious. Anyway,
I don't think it's about not being suspicious. I think it's about not being able to trace it back to you.
Were you tapping?
My foot's tapping on the floor.
Oh. Yeah, anyway, that's all besides the point. We're not here to advocate or assist in murder. We're actually here to end crime.
Do you know anything about the dog?
No. What? I mean, if there was a fire in the area, it's possible that the dog was a casualty of the fire. It's possible that the dog found the remains of her and was interested in the remains and then
got caught up in the fire?
Yeah, it's kind of
Weird.
Not every source mentioned that there were dog remains found there, and some sources said one source made it sound like there was a dog and a human that were laying next to one another. But then another source said that there were dog remains and then a human skull.
Got it.
So I don't know.
Yeah, resources are giving mixed answers.
Yeah.
Oh, it's always so frustrating. I can understand how me doing missing persons cases is not always satisfying to listen to. Interesting in its complexity and lack of complexity. I don't...
Mm-hmm.
I have to put myself into a time frame of the year 1980. Mm-hmm. And what did they have as possible tools to keep track of this woman, or to know where she was or where she went or how she died? I also think it's weird that there's this belief that her watch indicates what time she was killed.
Yeah, same.
Because do watches just stop when we die, or
empirically
was it
no?
Was it smashed?
And if it was, that would be some sort of indicator as to how she died.
Right. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Did this person light her on fire? Or her remains?
Did they drown her? Was it submerged in water? And then I read a source that said that the watch stopped at May 29th at 12:32 a.m. And I was like, I'm not including all of that because I don't think those watches were... I don't think that it tells you the month.
Right. How... I don't know. I feel like I have seen, like, analog watches that can tell the month.
It just feels like a very large, cumbersome type watch. Because that feels very military grade style watch.
Not the dainty watch you would see on a woman's wrist.
Right.
Odd. It sounds like some conjecture was made on their end, potentially.
It also makes me question, like, the information that you get in a solved case. Because I know that I get conflicting information in solved cases as well. But it really feels like once a case is solved and there's a completed story to tell, that some of those details just get decided by somebody along the way. Which, to be fair, we're probably guilty of ourselves.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah. Dorothy Jane Scott was abducted and murdered, and her child was left without a mother. He had been dropped off at his grandparents' house because they lived nearby, and they helped care for him while she worked. No word on if his father ever got involved in his life after his mother died. I truly don't. I would be really surprised if his father had anything to do with it, because I don't think that there was even a child support situation. Mm-hmm. Like, it just feels like he wasn't a part of their lives, and that was what it was.
Right.
But I don't know.
Interesting.
It feels like the 1980s was this really weird time where, like, they were very aware of, well, we don't have enough to charge this guy, but also they didn't have enough of the knowledge. I mean, he should have been interviewed, and it's implied that he was, because it says that he was heavily looked at. But I don't know, get like a forensic psychologist in there to assess him, because there's no way that if he's the person that they wouldn't be able to uncover somebody who's that sadistic.
Is this case considered inactive?
No, it's considered active. It's considered active, and please, where did they say to go? I was going to put, what the hell is happening? All right. I was going to say to go to ocsheriff.gov. There is a page there for Dorothy Jane Scott. There's a link on how to contact them, and it says that they're searching for new leads on the case, and that the search to bring justice to Dorothy and her family is ongoing.
Okay. Well, if you have any information on Dorothy's case, please reach out to ocsheriff.gov. I think this was an excellent short story. Thank you for sharing Dorothy's story with me.
It feels like it should be solvable.
It does. It feels solvable. It feels like it maybe should have already been solved. Yeah. It feels like, I wonder if they've gone back and done any kind of testing with new updates to technology. Have they looked for any kind of DNA? Was any DNA ever found or scavenged? Do they even still have any remains left? What are the number of ways that we could potentially count or find some kind of match? It feels like one of those things where somebody knows something. Somebody has to know the alleged creep that, followed her.
What about fingerprints on the steering wheel? Or fingerprints... Is that me? Or is that you? It's you. The rocking, tapping sound.
That was probably my foot again.
I have to detach it.
If only.
There is a strong chance that this person was not the same height as Dorothy. So the lever that you used to adjust the seat, did we get fingerprints from there? Like, how ablaze was the car? Was it left just a shell of a vehicle, or did they catch it in time to put it out to preserve some forensic evidence? There's got to be something, but I think that there was a real missed opportunity to get somebody in there who was trained in revealing somebody's sadistic nature, getting in with them, getting in with that mechanic who was known to have a fixation on Dorothy. But yeah, I mean, a 4-year-old lost his mom, his only parent, and this couple lost their daughter. It just seems like she was probably an only child. Hello?
Something fell on my desk.
It seems like she was maybe an only child, and then no answers. So she had been tormented for months, and then her mother was tormented for years after the fact. Not only grieving the loss of her, not knowing what happened to her daughter for 4 years.
Yeah, terrible.
I think I was really pushing to finish this quickly because I knew that you had a heart out.
Well, I appreciate it. You did an excellent job.
Wrapped it up in approximately 15 minutes.
That's okay. I really do need to go get ready. So, do we just go to our ending?
Yeah, we can do.
Okay. What do I say again?
That's all we've got for this episode. Thank you for listening.
I don't know why I can't remember that.
Every time. It's because you've never had to.
That's all we've got for this episode. Thank you for listening.
Teach a man to fish, and he'll eat for life. Until the next crime.
If you enjoyed listening and want to hear more, please subscribe, give us a 5-star rating, and leave a review.
The link to join our supportive bestie tier on Patreon for only $2 a month is listed in the show notes.
Also, make sure you're following us at End of Crime Pod on Instagram.
Our email address is endofcrimepod@gmail.com, so feel free to reach out with questions or episode suggestions.